markets?
Nico, where are you? Phoenix, what's your what? What? Hmm? Mijo. Hmm?
Hold it down.
Who?
Tonight, Russia unleashing its biggest attacks in months on Ukraine. Russian missiles raining down on Kyiv and cities across Ukraine, hitting civilian targets, a pedestrian bridge, a children's playground. At least 11 people killed. Vladimir Putin saying the massive strike was retaliation for the explosion that damaged the key bridge for Russian supply lines. Our teams inside Ukraine and Russia. Also tonight, Iran's oil workers joining protesters over the death of a young woman after her arrest by the nation's morality police. The violent crackdown by security forces. Our correspondent inside Iran. In New York, the 10th city being stood up to house thousands of migrants sent by other states. The mayor declaring a state of emergency. How many people can the tents hold, and where else could they be moved? The new sex crimes trial for Harvey Weinstein getting underway in Los Angeles. The surprise witness just revealed. The new study raising questions about colonoscopies. How effective are they really at preventing cancer deaths? And a mom and CEO behind a popular brand helping preschoolers learn about the world in 2 languages.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening. It is a restless night in Kyiv after the Ukrainian capital came under a barrage of Russian missiles that struck across the country earlier today, killing nearly a dozen. Officials say at least 84 cruise missiles and 24 drones were used in today's attacks that Russia calls an act of revenge after accusing Ukraine of being behind the weekend explosion that destroyed parts of a major bridge and critical supply route connecting Russia to annex Crimea. The Russian strikes hitting Ukraine's energy infrastructure, plunging many cities into an unsettling darkness. President Biden condemning Russia, saying it destroyed targets with no military purpose. The attack comes as Vladimir Putin faces growing pressure at home to take a harder stand against Ukraine, which has made major gains on the battlefield recently. Tonight, we have teams on the ground both inside Ukraine and in Moscow. Let's start with Cal Perry in Kyiv.
Tonight, Kyiv is a city once again under fire.
I can't wait all night long. It's almost bedtime.
Russia to occupy Crimea,
go ahead and make
a
the
vital supply line for the Russians and symbol of Putin's occupation there. Russia's president saying today
my dad loves fish because he was raised by the not the ocean
is,
but
quote,
the
retaliation
river
for that bridge explosion, though Ukraine has not taken responsibility for it. More than 84 rockets and 24 drones fired into Ukraine today. The attacks hitting the capital for the first time in months, striking many residential areas, a pedestrian bridge, and the children's playground.
The power of these explosions is immediately evident when you come here to the scene. The rockets landing at the height of rush hour as people were just headed to work. It ruins what was calm in this city because at this hour, there are still residents in bomb shelters hoping that the worst is over.
Chocolate.
Ukraine says it shot down nearly half the rockets using military air defenses.
We need anti-rocket system. And safety right now the main priority, and that's why we tell to our partners, please, we have to defend our citizens.
President Zelensky releasing a video moments after the first rockets fell. A dual purpose, a message and proof of life. Russia has in the past tried to kill the Ukrainian leader. They deliberately chose such a time, he says, such goals in order to cause as much harm as possible. Ukraine's energy infrastructure crippled after this latest round of strikes. Rolling blackouts are already underway, and beginning Tuesday, the country will halt all energy exports. Aaron McLaughlin is in the eastern city of Kharkiv.
It's nightfall here in Kharkiv, and the power's still out. As you can see, there's no light. This bus is just stuck here. And this is what many Ukrainians say they fear most: the cold, the dark, and the coming winter.
A winter approaching quickly as civilians take cover once again.
Anyways.
Cal, the U.S., of course, has already given billions in aid to Ukraine. Late today, the presidents of both countries spoke. What is Ukraine asking for right now?
He's heavy.
Well, Lester, Ukraine is asking its partners for their continued military support. And in their conversation today, President Biden assured the Ukrainian president they would continue to receive those very important air defense systems. If you listen to the Ukrainian president, he says that is their number one priority moving forward. Lester?
Cal Perry, you and your team stay safe. Thank you. The strikes in Ukraine follow the appointment of a battle-hardened general to oversee Russian forces and unwavering support for President Vladimir Putin among his inner circle. Keir Simmons is in Moscow tonight.
Adam, looky what I got.
Is that the new iPhone 14 Pro?
Yep, with this amazing new camera. Smile.
And you got it on Verizon.
iPhone 14 Pro on them. You should get one. Wow, you can hustle.
Get a new iPhone 14 Pro on us and get it with one unlimited for iPhone, only on Verizon.
Tonight, what President Putin called a massive strike on Ukraine, applauded by loyalists like Dmitry Medvedev, once a Western-friendly Russian leader who shared burgers with President Obama and tested an iPhone with Steve Jobs. Today, he again called for dismantling Ukraine's political regime. In Putin's world now, any moderate voices are silent, and many ordinary Russians anxious.
People are worried about the situation in the city and in the country.
This morning's attacks follow Putin's appointment of hardline General Sergei Surovikin, Russia's new commander of the war in Ukraine. He was once jailed after pro-democracy protesters were killed on his watch during an attempted coup in 1991. More recently, General Surovikin was the commander on the ground in Syria when Aleppo was leveled. We liquidated the terrorists, he then told President Putin. Now Putin is calling Ukrainian leaders terrorists. This morning's strikes the newly appointed general's first act. His arrival celebrated by other powerful hardliners like Yevgeny Prigozhin, also known as Putin's chef because he supplied food to